Welcome to Unpack Radio. I am your host, Norris the Pope Johnson. And tonight we'll be talking to my guy, Kevin from Purebullfit, the best fitness group on Facebook, YouTube scholar. He knows a lot about fitness. I know a lot about the fat acceptance community and everything going on with fitness. We'll be talking with him in 1 minute. This is Unpack Radio. We'll be talking to Kevin from Purebullfit, my favorite fitness group. Let's get it going. Unpack Radio in 1 minute. Mic test, mic test. This is Unpack Radio. I'm your host, Norris the Pope Johnson, and I owe myself, Mr. Kevin. Hopefully he can hear us. We're going to lay our healing hands on the Zoom. Let's see if the Zoom works. Kevin, can you hear us? I can't hear you. Lord Jesus. Hold on. Kevin, can you hear us? Can you say something so we can make sure we can hear you on your end?
Now I think you can't hear me.
Now we can hear you.
Okay, great.
We got the Zoom working. Father God, the Zoom is working. The Zoom has been healed. How you doing, Kevin? It's an honor to speak with you, good brother. First and foremost,
how you doing, man?
First and foremost, before we get into your background, I was telling Dirk, me and him have been talking off and on his fitness group. The first thing, I wasn't expecting to be the friend in your group before, because I've been in a lot of fitness groups off and on, and for us guys who are, I would say, African American, it's kind of rough. There's a little bit of hatred for black guys in fitness groups, and I wasn't expecting to meet a lot of friends, but I met a lot of friends in your group, and I appreciate your group. You pretty much saved my fitness life, especially during COVID. So before we get into all that, can you give everybody a little bit of your background and let them know about yourself?
Well, what I like to tell everybody is I'm not special in any way. I am a retired Marine, medically retired. I worked in the video game industry for a little while. I was disabled when I left the Marine Corps, and I thought that fitness was out of reach. I was in pain every day. I still am, but I stumbled across a strongman coach who, by happenstance, happened to be an internationally renowned strongman coach, and he showed me that I, in fact, could not only get back to where I was, but be stronger than I've ever been in my entire life. And I wanted to give that feeling to other people. So after a couple of tries, after a couple of trying to figure myself out and what I was going to do, I went to school for kinesiology. I got a bunch of certifications. I got a bunch of letters after my name, and I started some communities. And Purebullfit is the one that took off. And I've been just trying to provide people with low or no cost resources to live longer, better quality lives ever since.
Yeah, you've been doing an awesome job. First and foremost, how did you fall in love with fitness? Did you fall in love with it because you were trying to go into the military, or how did you first fall in love with fitness?
No, man, I hated everything about PT in the military. It really was 33 years old, being told that as a former Marine, I had to check out this boot camp at Blizzard Entertainment where I was working, a video game company. They make World of Warcraft and stuff like that. And I laughed it off because I could barely stand up straight. And then I finally went out there, and the feeling that I got from getting full use of my body back and then just blowing by my own expectations for what my strength could be, and then becoming the second strongest guy at Blizzard Entertainment, because that record, unfortunately, does belong to a guy named Conan. That's his real name, who's a former producer at Blizzard Entertainment and one of the strongest human beings on the planet. He's also a professional strongman. He's got his pro card. So I try not to take it too hard that he's stronger than I am. But that feeling of empowerment, of not against like other people, but against my own expectations, against yester me, felt so good as anything that I had felt or accomplished while I was in the Marine Corps. I didn't fall in love with fitness so much as fell in love with that feeling and wanting other people to know what that was like.
Now,
fitness is just a vehicle.
I know you don't like to talk about your military background, but can you give us a little brief history of your military background?
Well, sure. It's not that I don't like to talk about it. It sounds really it sounds really edgelord to say that I can't talk about a lot of it. But I started off in the Air Force. I joined the Air Force back in 2000. My second day on my first duty station was 9/11. So that was surreal. And then the Air Force didn't turn out to be the military experience that I was looking for. So in 2005, I left the Air Force and started all over and joined the Marine Corps, which means I lost all my rank. I had to start over. I had to go back to boot camp. And it's the only other service that would make me do that. And that's what I really wanted. So I joined the Marine Corps in 2005, served till 2012 when my neck was injured. What I did in the Air Force was work on flight lines, so I've got a lot of experience with maintenance. I apologize for the roof work that they're still doing outside, if you guys can hear that. And then I went into what ended up being the anti-narcotic, anti-human trafficking mission as a cryptologist, as an intel guy, prosecuting anti-narcotics and human trafficking out of Mexico, South America, and stuff like that when I was in the Marine Corps. And in my last 2 years, I was fortunate enough to be selected as an individual augmentee for Marine Corps Special Operations Command, for Special Operations Task Force 82 specifically. And I got to serve with those guys, and it was a real eye-opener. So I was fortunate. I fell into all these really good things. I fell into my opportunities in the Marine Corps. And then I fell into training with a world-class strongman coach. So I realized that I've been very, very fortunate in my life, and I'm just trying to pay some of that forward.
Well, thank you for your service, first and foremost. What type of injuries did you actually have during your service?
All right, so it's a long list of what I comedically refer to as authentic battle damage. But degenerative joint disease in my joints is just from the rough style of training and the poor process for training that's understood in the military. I don't think a lot of people understand that, is that the average Marine sergeant, platoon sergeant, staff sergeant, gunnery sergeant, they don't understand how to train people intelligently for physical fitness. They just know what the expectations are and are willing to put you through the meat grinder in order to make you get to them. So I learned a lot post-Marine Corps about that. But I had an incident where we trained a little too hard. My kidneys shut down. Only one of them came back online. So I've got one functioning kidney. I got a bunch of broken bones. But the big ones are the neuropathy dysfunction from the ruptured disc in my neck, C6, C7, which happened during a training accident, not even anything cool. I was helping demonstrate the neck crank, which is a pain compliance maneuver for the Marine Corps Martial Arts program. And it went terribly, terribly wrong and ruptured a disc in my neck. So the technique works, but it gave me permanent nerve damage in my neck. And then the other stuff is just really common, but it all adds up. I've got 5 total herniated discs in my spine, one in my thoracic spine, one in my neck, as I just mentioned, and then 3 in my lumbar spine. Tendinitis, tinnitus, hearing loss, yada, yada, yada. This is not a pity me kind of thing. It's just what happens when you do what we do for as long as we did it. So a bunch of little things that all added up to lead to my daily experience is pain. And I don't feel sorry for myself, so don't take it that way. But on the few days that I have no pain due to circumstance, due to a chiropractic adjustment or what have you, it's a novel feeling because I forgot what that feels like.
Oh, wow. I hope they gave you 100% on your way out the door for all that stuff you had to go through. Now, briefly explain to the people, how did it feel to come back from all that pain and all your disabilities to be one of the strongest guys that I know, pretty much walking around? So how did it feel to build yourself up from pretty much nothing? Because I noticed in the world of fitness, everybody like to use excuses of why they can't do it. So can you briefly explain why a guy like yourself served his country, pretty much was broken down and found a way back to being the strongest guy out here?
So one of the things that I'm talking about in the video that I'm editing right now, I took a 2-month break, and I got another video to publish, is depression. One of the things I left the Marine Corps with is depression. And some people are born with it, and some people it's brought on by circumstance and situation. And when I left the Marine Corps, when I had it taken from me, because that's how I felt about it, I wanted to be able to re-enlist. I wanted to continue. I wanted to finish 20 years. But because the nerve damage was deemed permanent, then I just wasn't allowed. And the Marine Corps was reducing their ranks by 20% in 2012, and they just saw an easy way to get towards that 20%, with me. So they denied all of my deferrals, my hopes that I could get a second review board to take a look at the information to see if I could somehow maintain my career. And that hurt, man. I spent 6 months doing nothing, getting soft, getting fat, and feeling powerless. Not in the traditional sense of masculinity, because I don't actually buy into that. I don't believe in alpha. I don't believe in I am the storm. All of that is ridiculous edgelord nonsense to me. A real man doesn't have to define himself in that way. A real man lives up to his word, makes a positive impact on the world around him. Those are measures that I think are important. If you want to be big and strong in the process, cool, awesome. If you want to use that to inspire people to pursue their own health and wellness, even better. But that whole nonsense of, well, you squat 395, but I squat 405, so I'm a bigger man than you, is just absolute fucking nonsense and bullshit.
Correct.
Oh, sorry.
Correct.
I know it's called uncensored, but can I?
You can say anything you want here, and we going to still post on YouTube and hope they don't censor us. Now,
All right,
it's funny that you use the word alpha, because I was just now having a conversation with my nephew who's an athlete, and I truly believe it depends on, as far as the alpha is concerned, I think it's just all in the situation. I just now had this conversation with a coworker who's really into church. And I was like, if you take me to your church right now, and we go in that situation knowing I don't know a lot about church, in that situation, you are the alpha, because that's your world. But if I take you to the gym and say, hey, I'm going to take you through my pain-taking workout, then in that world, I am the alpha, because at that situation, you're the alpha dog. So I think it's just all in the situation as far as being alpha.
Yeah,
But
context.
as far as
Sure.
the depression, I was talking to Dirk, and he said he suffered from the same thing with body dysmorphia.
Oh, yeah.
He suffered a lot of racism, being a mixed child growing up in Philly. So he has also
Dude, I
suffered
can't
a
even
lot.
imagine.
So how would you explain coming back from depression? Good to go, Reggie? Welcome back to Unpack Radio. I'm your host, Norris Pope Johnson. I have with myself my co-host, brand new co-host, DC Baddest, in the building again. And we have Kevin. Hopefully, God still got his hands on the Zoom. So hopefully we're going to slide on in. We're going to go back with depression. What's your feels on depression, and how do you come back from depression?
Well, I want to make sure that folks understand that that's not something you come back from. You learn to endure it better, deal with it better, react, respond, and live through it better. No amount of exercise or bench press or squat made my depression go away. It made me more resilient in dealing with it. And I think it feels amazing. It feels amazing to be a functional person when there were days, when there were nothing but days where I didn't want to get out of bed, couldn't get out of bed, couldn't see to my responsibilities, couldn't take care of my family. That's a low feeling, especially when you're old school like myself, where I take upon myself knowingly, family is my job to provide for. That's just the way that my family is set up. I know that there are lots of different models to tackle things, but that's my role as I was raised. I'm a little bit older, and that really bothered me. That cut me down and made me feel like I wasn't even a good human being. And I did things that meant that I wasn't a good human being, right? And I've made a full account of those to the people that I hurt. I've tried to do right by them, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to fix it or trying to make it better. But I was in a low place, and I wasn't acting like myself. But I felt justified in all of my actions because of the things that had happened to me. I was the victim, and being free of that sick mentality, knowing, I've got actions, that there are consequences. I've got to make those right. Now I can through these small achievements of hitting a goal or hitting all my workouts or achieving the aesthetic that I'm looking for, all these small things that ultimately don't matter in the long term, but matter in the short term towards building that resiliency, getting through a hard workout, knowing that I can endure that kind of pain, or I can reach this goal or that goal, or I can show other people how to do it. That's been incredibly empowering. And I just want that for everybody. I want everybody to have that feeling of waking up, knowing they make a damn difference, and feeling good about themselves in their skin, and being able to do that for a long ass time because they're healthy.
Wow.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. You got a question, my love?
Oh wow. Just jumping into this. As
Sure.
far as your depression, how deep did it go to um, the core of the process of your daily routine, as far as your working out or um, your zeal to want to, because of depression, it causes you to slack off everything else. So let me just make sure I'm clear of what I'm saying. It causes you to slack off everything else, which I have had those type of feelings. So it causes you not to want to be in the environment where you're so superficial. Oh my gosh, everything is happy, hunky dory. But I know that I got to get this workout in. But my depression is taking over. So what methods did you use to pull yourself out of that slump, to come out and say, hey, I'm going to do this regardless, and I'm going to make sure that the world knows that if I can do it, that you can do it?
So it's multifactorial. I don't think that there's any one thing that helps. It's utilizing every tool in the tool chest to get the job done. And how deep did it go? I was suicidal for years.
Wow.
Multiple iterations and a couple of attempts.
Wow.
I was in a bad way. I did nothing.
Wow.
It didn't just affect whether or not I felt good enough for a workout. I didn't do anything. I couldn't feed myself. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't cleaning myself. I did nothing, unless it was self-destructive. If it was self-destructive, suddenly I found a passion and a zeal for it and threw myself into it headlong. And the things that helped me get out of that were counseling, for one. I've been lucky to avoid medication, thank God. That's not everybody's answer, and I'm not saying that medication is bad, but I'll remind you guys, I have one kidney. So I try not to strain my body with too many things that it can't handle. But more than that, like I said, it was multifactorial. The working out helped in that it gave me these small and simple milestones that I could achieve. First was getting through a workout, then was stringing workouts together, then was hitting goals, then was teaching others, then was creating this community dude, if I knew you were going to wear the merch, I wouldn't have worn the merch. Creating this community that legitimately, I can say honestly, helps people. And I love that. I don't externalize all of my value. I actually don't care if anybody likes me. I only care if I'm making a difference. And having that kind of resilience, emotional and physical resilience, has made my life completely different. I'm going to be here for my family. I'm going to be present for them. I was in a place then where I thought my existence was poison and the world was better off around me. And that wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I believed that.
Wow.
Yeah.
First and foremost, on a side note, Kevin, I had to wear the merch, baby. I believe in supporting people who support the community. And I see everything you've been doing for a long, long time. I've been following you for about a year. And I've been in your group for a year. And from what I see, everybody keeps everybody accountable. I call Dirk my accountability officer, and we have a conversation every Sunday about fitness. And that's my guy. And I'm looking forward to actually seeing him in person. But I believe in
Derek's
fitness.
my dude. I want him to blow up.
I love that guy. That's a good guy, good wife, good family, good guy. And I believe in fitness, you should have an accountability officer. And I believe in your group, you have several of them that keep everybody accountable and will call you out on your shits. But why is fitness important right now, especially with COVID and obesity and everything else going on in the world? Why do you think fitness is very important right now? And your mission is important?
Well, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And that's not just, if it's not my information, it's misinformation. I truly believe that there are more people trying to take advantage of others' ignorance than there are people actually trying to educate and give people the tools. That's one of the reasons that I have an entire section of free programs and resources. And that's the second reason why everything that I do that has money attached to it is as low as I can possibly justify it. I want people to know for a fact that this isn't about a money grab, because that's what it is for 99.999% of the folks that are in this industry. Folks are gullible. They want a quick answer. They're ripe to be taken advantage of. And it makes me sick to my stomach. And I fell for it. I was doing Rich Piana feeder workouts for my arms every night. They did not grow an inch. I was disappointed. And then when I asked about it, they're like, oh, did you get his supplements? Because that's where the real growth happens. No. I talk about him on the channel all the time, so I'm not going to go off on that. Why is it important? Because of the underlying conditions that are cited for making you extra vulnerable to things like COVID-19. Almost all of them are preventable if you're active and maintain a healthy body composition. I didn't say weight, I said body composition. Because excess subcutaneous fat tissue, things like that, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here, raised inflammation levels, choke off your lymph nodes, making them less effective, close off your breathing from obstructive sleep apnea, increase your risk of dying from this disease, period, full stop. And if you can prevent that, you should prevent that. If you can do so morally and ethically through educating folks on the very simple things that they can do with consistency, I view that as a responsibility. My dad, one of those super old school guys, it sounds like a Spider-Man quote, and it should have been a Spider-Man quote. He says, if you have the ability to help somebody, you have the responsibility to help somebody. I don't know if that's his quote, but that he's the guy I heard it from. That's how I'm living my life now. I have the ability to help 80,000 people in the community right now. So I have the responsibility to help all those folks and anybody else who comes along. Why it's important, in addition to that, we're stuck at home. Depression is up. Substance abuse is up. If we can give people things to do that will actually build them up, make them stronger, make them more resistant to these things that occupy their time, occupy their hands, occupy their minds, we should do that. If we can take the beer bottle out of somebody's hand and put a dumbbell in there, we should do that. If we can give somebody an endorphin rush because they got through a hell of a workout, they got through the kettlebell slam ball. You don't do those at the same time. The kettlebell swing and the slam ball routine is one of my hit workouts that just absolutely thrashes people. But when they get through it, they feel like they accomplished something. Or anybody else's workout, or just edifying somebody. Supporting their self-esteem when they post a picture they've been too afraid to post, and we're like, no, I do see the difference. You have made progress. Those are the things that we can do to stave off the darkness that will slowly engulf all of our minds and our hearts if we sit here and do nothing and just let the circumstances define the borders of our lives. And if the shit does hit the fan, if all of those gun-toting militia folks who absolutely are expressing their rights are right, and we're on the verge of a government collapse and the lizard people are coming, you will be more prepared if you are fit than if you are not.
Your question, my love.
How about
I
that?
got a follow up
Alright.
for the lizard people and whatever. But your question.
Well, I am speaking from myself asking you this question. Having certain ailments, I am battling stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and I also just found out that I have type 2 diabetes. Also have high blood pressure. So with that being said, I lost weight in a way that I did not want to lose weight, which was the unhealthy way, and it just dropped. So everything is jingling, baby. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So what is the best method for a person like myself who are, pretty much my medicine keeps me in a contained place because I'm always tired. But I'm full of life, I'm full of zest, and I do get up early, but I want to utilize that energy and that strength. How can I bring back the jiggliness to a muscle versus it being what it is now? Because it's a problem for me, but I want to fix it.
Yeah. So first and foremost, one of the things that you have to do is the easiest thing, and that's weight. If you lose a lot of weight really rapidly, there is loose skin, and that loose skin has a tendency to retract. Now, I don't know how old you are, but you look like you're very young. So that's good because
I'm
there's
42.
collagen. That collagen, you're 42. We are the same age.
42, yes.
You are still in that period of your life where there's sufficient collagen that your skin will retract to a great extent.
Okay.
By itself. You have to be careful in that you are not overtaxing your already I'm going to say the word subpar, but what I really mean is negatively affected immunosystem.
Okay.
I don't know what medications you're taking to deal with the cancer, but I do know that every last one of them weakens your immune system.
Yes.
And that is a concern for you because incredibly intense exercise also weakens your immune system for a short period afterwards as your body tries to recover from it. So the strategy for you to build that tissue that you want to fill out your arms is going to be to make sure that you're actually eating enough.
Eating what?
eating enough. You
Oh,
have to flat out eat enough in order to make tissue in excess of what you have.
wow.
So you can't diet in a deficit because you want to trim waist and build a lot of significant muscle at the same time.
Mm.
If you don't have to worry about the things that you have to worry about, there's a little more play. Like if I'm 265 pounds, which I currently am, 6'4", and I want to stay 265 pounds, but I want to be more muscle and a little less fat, I can do that. If I had to deal with what you're dealing with right now, that would be infinitely less likely.
Okay.
I've had multiple family members struggle with cancer, some successfully, some not successfully. So I've watched what happens, and those who stay active, they do better, way better. But for you, you should be active to the point where it invigorates you, not active to the point where it exhausts you.
Okay.
That is the primary key. Everything else is a variable. And if you want to talk with me about it offline and you want to get more pinpoint, tuned
Definitely.
in information that I can give you, I'd be happy to.
Sure.
But the broad advice that I would give, that I can responsibly give without significantly more information, is for someone who has to deal with all that you have to deal with, working out to where it emotionally and physically invigorates you, stimulates the tissue that you want to grow, and making sure that you eat enough is going to be the baseline advice that will help you make general progress towards that.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That was a lot of information. So, along with myself and my colleagues who are in the same situation, hope that they got that. That was good. That was real good.
Hey, that's why he's my man. Kevin, I do have a question because I was recently in a grocery store with a certain individual, no names, and they was telling me they're going to start drinking apple cider, sir, or vinegar or some crazy concoction. What do you got to say about, I see your facial expression like this. What do you got to say about, because we like to call out the bullshit. What do you have to say about, what do you got to say about quick fixes like apple cider, vinegar, salt water, put this patch on your left eye while you're doing jumping jacks? What do you guys say about quick fixes that do not work? Because I was laughing in the grocery store, but what do you guys say about it? Because you're the
So
expert.
there are no secrets in fitness. And if any of that stuff, we'll talk about the research in a second. If any of that stuff was as effective as it is marketed, it would be the norm. And it would be $1,000. Apple cider vinegar wouldn't be over the counter.
Right.
It would be locked up behind some counter for $999.97 because it's 3 cents cheaper than the guy next door. That's what it would be. There are a lot of claims made about these things that are drawn from clinical trials that are paid for by the company that's selling it. You got to be careful when you look at these things. If you look at any amount of objective research, and with our access to the internet, nobody has any excuse to go into one of these situations uninformed. It's all there. You just have to have the patience to read through it. You'll find that any difference noted from taking apple cider vinegar, your brown fat tissue compared to your white fat tissue, none of them are statistically significant and none of them have been repeated. There are broad effects. So if you take something like fenugreek, men or women, you're going to experience most people are going to experience better bowel movements. They're going to have slightly nicer hair or skin, and their urine is going to smell like maple syrup, which is not all bad. Like, that's cool, but it's not going to raise your testosterone like people say it is. You take 1,000 milligrams of, you're not going to suddenly have steroid-like effects from taking a $9 over-the-counter herb crushed up. And it's not that it's natural that it doesn't work. The fact is it just doesn't do what people say that it does, because one single trial said if you take 1,000 milligrams of fenugreek, you're going to increase your testosterone. Never mind that research into testosterone boosters have shown that unless it is at supraphysiological levels, meaning that no normal human being produces this amount of testosterone, increases in your testosterone do not translate directly or proportionately to increased muscle mass. Consistent increase of testosterone over time has a positive effect. So heavy resistance training, it spikes your testosterone. Do that frequently. Do it over time. Get lots of rest, because sleep helps you maintain your hormone levels for estrogen and testosterone. That over time helps. Getting one good night's sleep does not put pounds of muscle on your body. It is the same with the rest of this stuff. If it's easy, if it's cheap, and if it's a secret, it's a lie. Those are my general rules. Maybe someday there will be an exception, but I haven't found it yet.
Great point. I rest my case, Your Honor. Alicia, do you have a question for Mr.
Oh.
Kevin?
One more thing on apple cider vinegar. It does have a couple of effects that are measurable. You will get heartburn and you will strip the enamel off your teeth. So if that's what you're looking for, knock it out of the park. Drink it every day.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Oh, wow.
Alicia.
Okay, so I found myself in this situation, as many of us have, after trying to call myself working out, starting a new thing. After I found out I had type 2 diabetes, I got up every morning, tried to do at least a mile and a half walk. But I would find myself literally hollering, crying for help because the Charlie horses in my legs are keeping me from doing anything imaginable. And it is the worst pain ever. So how do I prevent this from happening?
Are you training fasted with type 2 diabetes?
Am I what?
She doesn't
Do you
know
eat
that
before
man.
you go exercise?
What do you say?
Are you eating before you exercise?
I normally do a boiled egg and a little bit of orange juice just to raise my blood sugar because I can't have that much. But a boiled egg is about all I do early in the morning because I normally get up about 5:30 and I do it until about 6:30. So I don't try to eat a whole lot. So I need to do more eating. I'm not a big eater.
The 2 points in your day when your blood sugar is going to be the lowest and you're going to have the most tolerance towards carbohydrate intake is when you get up in the morning and right after you work out. That's when your blood sugar is the lowest. Those are the best times, the smartest times for you to be eating carbohydrates. So potassium-rich, electrolyte-rich foods like a banana has natural sugars and carbohydrates. You shouldn't be afraid of something like that before you exercise because that will stave off the cramps. Unless you've been incredibly inactive for years, I doubt that walking at all, having the audacity to get up and move your body is the thing that's causing the cramps. But for people who are significantly overweight, who don't move much during the day, move less than 30 minutes a day, those folks will experience cramps pretty much no matter what they do, and they just have to gut it out and continue to work through it.
Right.
But for folks, the timing of nutrition doesn't matter for getting jacked. It does matter for people with things like type 2 diabetes. And my mom has type 2 diabetes, and I do all of her nutrition work. I do all of her exercise work. She's been obese for 25 years and lost 55 pounds this year.
Oh,
She eats her carbs.
congratulations.
Yeah, she's great.
Awesome.
So I would try electrolytes first.
Okay.
If that scares you, get a BCAA drink with electrolytes in it. BCAAs are not more effective than protein for building muscle, but they are a nice flavorful drink that's relatively low calorie, that can have carbohydrates and electrolytes in it at the same time, which will allow you to stave off the cramps because they suck.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
I believe you that they're terrible.
Yes. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, Kevin, we're going to have to take a small break. We're going to send you another link for the next Zoom. So we'll be back in 1 minute on Impact Radio.
Oh, brother.
Welcome back to Unpack Radio. I'm your host, Norris Pope Johnson. Have with me DC Baddest. And I'm the hottest man on Facebook, hottest man on IG, and the hottest man on YouTube. Don't fake it, brother. I got my guy, Kevin. Now, Kevin, at the end of the show, we're going to give you the opportunity to roast the hell out of somebody, which we all know you love to do. But my main question...
Yeah, no pressure.
My main question, I was telling my nephew, I was telling the guy I've been training that I don't believe in taking any type of anabolics. I don't believe in taking any type of pre-workouts. I like to know when I do something, it was 100% me. That's just me as my personal integrity. Like when I bench pressed that 315, I knew it was me. I know your group got me there, and then Dirk threw out the gauntlet of 400 and some pounds. So the gauntlet has been thrown down for 405. So by June, somebody gonna have to lift it, me or Dirk. But how do you feel?
Derek's not lifting it. You're gonna have to do it.
I'm gonna tell him you said that on Sunday. So how do you?
I'll
feel?
tell him I said that.
How do you feel about anabolics and steroids in the fitness world?
So the purpose of the group is to help people live longer, better quality lives. That is the mission statement, right? And that's not just some catchy thing that is supposed to make people feel warm fuzzies about me so they buy my shit. That's the purpose. That's the mission. As a Marine, mission means something a little bit more than avenue to profit. If it doesn't coincide with a longer, healthier life, it doesn't belong. And at this point, anabolic steroids, performance enhancers, broadly, so broadly to the point that I can't think of even one, are net unhealthy. And the way that they are used is net shortening lives. So that's really as far as I have to think about it. Alcohol, in certain applications, in a certain extent, can have some beneficial effects. I do not drink because net shortens your life. Net is unhealthy. Net does bad things. So I don't drink. I don't smoke because clear evidence suggests, regardless of what 50s commercials would have you believe, smoking does not make you healthier. So we don't do it. And anabolic steroids, all that junk, right in there. Medicines are designed to the extent that they do more good than harm. So when people take these things that were originally made in order to help people with wasting diseases, both SARMs and anabolic steroids fall under that. People whose bodies are deteriorating in order to help folks. It wasn't so Joe Schmo from the gym could finally hit that PR of a 650-pound back squat. It wasn't so some guy could get on stage in the smallest pair of shorts imaginable and flex so hard that he craps himself. That's not what these were originally intended for. And since they are used predominantly outside of the scope of those things, it's just not something I support. I don't think it is a moral judgment, though. I don't think that somebody who is in a strength sport, which is already in and of itself fairly unhealthy, rife with risk, rife with abuse of these things, I don't think that it's cheating if a guy uses steroids and gets caught when so many of the rest of them are. I don't look at it that way. I don't actually care about that at all. What I care about is these guys are sacrificing decades of their life so that they can get a Super Bowl, so that they can be the world's strongest man. What Hafthor Bjornsson did to himself was a crime against himself in my mind. He took so much junk, his face disappeared into his cheeks. He went from 390 pounds at a competition weight to well over 450 pounds to the point where he stopped weighing himself. So he could get that 501 kilogram deadlift to set the world record. God knows what he did to his body. God knows what he did to his liver, to his kidneys, to his relationship. But it does speak volumes that immediately afterwards, he's like, I'm done. I'm retired. I'm going to train for this boxing match, and I am no longer competing. And then he dropped 80 pounds in a couple of months. I think it speaks volumes that he was aware.
Is that on I am, Reggie?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we lost you for a brief second.
Well, I was just saying that it speaks volumes that Hafthor retired, dropped a bunch of weight immediately afterwards, and stepped away from the sport. It tells me he knew what was happening to him, what would happen to him, but it was still worth it to him. 1 kilogram PR was worth it to him. So that's why I don't mess with that junk. It's not at a point where it's controlled, monitored, or medicinal. People are literally pitting themselves up with junk made in some dude's bathtub who doesn't give a rat's ass about you besides making $1,500 a cycle off of you.
All right. Last question, my love.
Okay, so with
You ask as many as you want.
oh well, thank you.
We only got an hour.
Well, I'm asking this for my son Isaiah. He's 10 years old and he loves muscles. He loves the six pack. He's into the whole Hulk Hogan tradition. I just introduced him to wrestling. So he's so super excited. It's so funny because before I left out the house, he was like, yeah, Mom, look at my arms. Like, they getting buff and big. I'm like, yes, son, you got it, you got it. So what do I say to him to keep him encouraged? Because, sometimes things can be so exciting in the beginning, and then they just tend to fall off. I want him to maintain a healthy living lifestyle. I had 5 children. He's one of the ones that wants to actually work out with me in the mornings, and he encourages me. So what would I say to my 10-year-old, coming from you, to stay in it, to stay in the game, and to know that he can get his goals, he can get a six-pack, he can be the strongest man in the world one day?
I think that the best approach is to praise him for the thing that he wants to be praised for in the moment, but to attach what you want to see out of him to that in additional praise. So he comes up and says, "Oh, look at my arms, look how big they are." You say, "Wow, they're so big. You've been doing so well. It takes so much time, and that's hard. The easy thing is to flex. The hard thing is to stick out when it's hard." And over time, you instill in him to value the hard part that's going to get him through. The motivation's easy. When inertia's going your way, it's real easy. When somebody is already dispirited, trying to get them to suddenly value hard work and the long road is the wrong time. You do it before they hit that. That's building speed as you go down the hill, so that getting up the hill is easier. It's really important to tie those things together.
That makes a lot of sense when you say it like that. So if I would have heard that from my sister, I probably would not have accepted it the way that I just did. But it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
I do this for a living,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
I went to school. I've studied hard. I've read so many research papers. I eat this information up. You think my wife listens to me?
I hope she does.
No.
Hey, girl.
Hey, Kevin, I got a question from my producer. She want to know, is juicing healthy?
Like elimination diet where you're drinking nothing but juice?
Yeah, do you know that they got the 10-day smoothie diets and
No.
all the other fancy stuff? Shout out
So
to
if
JJ Smith. JJ Smith.
So if it's fast and it's cheap, it's bullshit. But more than that, anything that narrows the scope of your nutrition to a very, very small number of foods that are nutritionally broad, meaning that they don't have a lot of micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals, that is never healthy. And doing it in the short term, you're only taking advantage of your immediate pattern recognition. Your brain is saying, "Oh, I'm watching the scale go down. Oh, I suddenly have energy because my blood is full of sugar right now." That it's effective, and that's just not the case. You'll lose some water weight in the initial phase. You'll stop storing as much glycogen, which means that the water will continue to drop, and you'll feel like you've lost 10 or 12 pounds in a week because you've entered a restrictive diet. But what science repeatedly demonstrates is that ultra-restrictive diets, not sustainable, not effective in the long term. You create a condition where you will yo-yo, and as soon as you go back to your previous method of behavior with engaging with food, you will not only put on that weight, but you are more likely to put on more weight. So net, it's a bad idea for it being nutritionally narrow and ineffective at the same time.
Thank you, Kevin. We're going to be back in 1 minute. I'm going to do my man law. Kevin's going to do a man law. Alicia's going to do a quote. I'm going to do a quote, and we're going to wrap this puppy up.
Yeah.
See you in 1 minute.
Welcome back to Unpack Radio. I am the co-host, Alicia Coe, DC's baddest, and this is Norris the Pope. Is it Johnson?
Yes, it
Norris
is.
the Pope Johnson, the one and only. How about that? We are getting ready to do our man laws. Well, before we leave, I would like for you ladies to know this is breast cancer and domestic violence month. I wear pink for my sisters who are battling and myself who is battling and domestic violence as well. Want you guys to know that there is help. You are not alone. Hit me up on MSK and D on Instagram or DC's baddest. Always remember to live in peace and not in pieces. All right, Mr. Pope.
It's time to roast the hell out of people. This is me and Kevin's favorite job right here. And unfortunately, I was going to do my man at Gold's Gym who was on top of the sink. But just for shits and giggles, my dude, Tyrone the fitness addict, I need you to move out your mother goddamn basement. And next time, Allen come at you, you got to come better than old man Allen. You should have roasted the hell out of Allen. On half of every young dude in the game, you should have came harder than old man Allen. But my dude, next time you in the mall, stop paying girls $20 to try to get their phone number. My dude, stop going to the gym half drunk. Talk about I'm at the gym and I'm drunk and I brought the cameraman with me. My dude, get out your mama basement. My dude, give your mom her daggone blender back. Kevin, it's your turn to roast. I'm done. I don't got no more to say. I ain't got no more for.
So you caught me when I'm in a good mood. So I'm gonna have to broaden this out a little bit. Instead of picking on one specific individual, I'm gonna talk to the whole group of individuals who are out there who think that you have to establish your dominance, by the deference of others. Those folks out there who measure their self-worth by how much other people fear them or respect them. I got some news for you. Nobody respects you. You are a spineless, sniveling, gelatinous, quivering, cowering piece of crap laying on the floor, begging for other people's respect instead of finding it for yourself. There's nothing manly or intrinsically badass about making other people feel small so that you can feel big. Do you know why you do that? You do that because you know you're incapable of being better than you currently are. So you're not going to get bigger, and you have to make everybody else smaller. And that's pathetic. That's my man law, I guess.
All right, Kevin, that was awesome. Real quick, where can people find you at if they want affordable help? Because you are the man for affordable help. So where can they find you at?
Well, instead of turning this into a commercial for myself, what I will point people towards is the Facebook group Purebullfit. It's my name on pretty much everything. And there you can find a Google Drive. I have a Google Drive full of free resources, 10, 12, 16-week programs that are complete programs. I've got resources for how to maintain, lose, or gain weight. I've got a 21-page recipe book, all free. I don't just want you to enjoy it. There's no sign up. There's nothing else. You go to the link, you click on it, you take what you want, give it to all your friends. Why? Don't even credit me. Tell me you did it. I don't care, as long as we make a positive impact on somebody else's life. If you want to be a part of this community, all that I ask is you respect others, lift other people up, and leave all that drama shit at the door. I make fun of people online, on my YouTube channel. I don't need anybody to come to my communities and think that that's what we're about. Everybody's welcome. Democrats, Republicans, independents. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't care what country, from where you're from, you deserve a better quality, longer life. So, instead of going, come get my training via this or that or the other thing, I'm going to go ahead and point people towards the free resources. It is a Google Drive you can find in the Facebook group. All you have to do is answer some simple questions, one of which being, are you going to treat folks with respect? So it's not hard. Come get it.
All right. In closing, my first statement is going to be, in the world of fitness, there is no race, there is no gender. There's only a brotherhood and sisterhood of iron and pain. And you have to be crazy enough to do it to yourself. And one thing about fitness, for me, I realized you can have friends, you can have accountability officers, but fitness is still a lonely journey, and you have to be accountable for yourself. And to quote the baddest man alive, my guy, David Goggins, we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need scientists, but the world also need fucking savages. Now, which one you gonna be, and are you gonna lift these heavy ass weights? And that's closing. Next week, we'll be doing Black business. We'll be back next week. And in closing, salute. This has been Unpack Radio. Kevin, thank you. I will be posting 405 by June, so keep me in your prayers, good brother.
You need help with that, you let me know.
I don't think you can help me from Maine, but I got it.
Thank you, and nice to meet you. Hope to meet you
Very
in
nice to
person
meet you
and your
too.
family soon.
Oh, happy anniversary too, good brother, man.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah,
Yes.
tell your lovely other half we said hello.
Yes, and thank you for giving us this time away. Because
It
I'm
was
a lady.
my pleasure.
It's a Friday. You should be dating. It's a date night.
All
Congratulations.
right, I appreciate you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Kevin. Love you, brother.
You too. You have a good night.
All right. You
All right.
too.
Salute.
That's what's up.
That was a good show. It went by like nothing.
Yeah.